And greetings, Project and Portfolio 1 students. This is Professor Dilts here, and today we're going to do our AV script tutorial. All right, so we'll take note that you do get an overview of the AV script in week 1. The actual assignment is due in week 2, where you will be actually turning in your AV script. So you get pretty much 2 weeks to work on this assignment. So definitely get started right away. And let us know if you have questions or concerns. All right. Now, a couple things that are provided for this assignment. So you do have a rubric. And the rubric pretty much breaks down everything that we're looking for that script. Okay. So be sure to go through that. This left column here pretty much is how we're going to grade you. So these are all the points that we're looking at for each topic. All right, so make sure you go through this. It's always great to have this open when you're actually working on your script, just to make sure you're covering everything. All right. Another thing that we provide an actual example of the AV script and how it should be set up. And this is the digital cinematography AV script version. Okay, there are several different versions out there, so I don't want you to think that this is the only way to do it, but this is the way that we do it in our program. Okay, so we will be looking for this example in our program. Okay, and so that's what this tutorial video will go over. Okay, and while I have this open, pretty much we'll go over some of the key elements. So usually each scene starts with a scene heading. Okay, and as you see, this is the video side, this is the audio side. All right, so everything that you see on screen will go on the left side, and that's the video column. Everything that you hear will, of course, go on the audio side. So that could be dialogue, that can be sound effects, that can be music. All that should go right on the dialogue side, on the audio side. All right, you should always have a name and title at the top, very important. Okay. So make sure you do that as well. Now on the video side, you have, of course, your scene headings, you have your shot types, you have your subject or item that your focus will be on for that particular shot, and then you have what we call a shot description. Okay, and the shot description has to be in complete sentences for this version. This is what we look for, a complete sentence, just as well as your dialogue has to be in complete sentences. All right, so we're very, very straightforward, especially when it comes to our grammar errors and stuff like that. So make sure you have these elements in complete sentences, so you won't miss out on points for those. Okay. Now, if you take note, we have one scene heading and the rest are just shots. So each box represents a shot, okay, that we're focusing on. All right, so wide shot, our focus is the patio here. Medium shot, our focus is run. Close up, our focus is the grill and the fire starter. Okay, so each shot type has a subject. They are separated by the boxes, and they pretty much go straight down and cover the rest of the page. All right, and this is what we would call a complete page. Usually one page represents 1 minute. And for this particular project, we're trying to keep it at 1 minute. So this is a great way to do that. Now, I will tell you, it doesn't necessarily mean that your project will automatically come to 1 minute. You know, from experience with actually shooting an example, it was some shots I ended up having to cut out just to make sure I make that 1 minute mark. All right, so it is a good chance you may not be able to put exactly every shot in here. Okay, the standard is 1 minute per page. Each page represents 1 minute, so sometimes it goes over. Very rarely it goes under, but most of the time it goes over, so it could go under as well. All right, so keep that in mind. All right, something else we provide a template. This template is in Microsoft Word, so you pretty much just open that template and you just write your script right on there. So the hard part is done for you, and as you see, it's broken up: video, audio side. You have to fill in your information up top, of course, so the name and the title, and I already pre-filled this in just for this example. All right, So we're going to do like a quick segment. I'm going to go over some stuff here, pretty much what we're looking for. So you always, of course, want to start with a scene heading. Okay. And your script should not be in bold. Sometimes, as you see with the template, it automatically made it bold. So it shouldn't be in bold. So, as you see it, just change it to regular font. All right. So it shouldn't be bold text. All right. It should be normal text. All right. So let's see. All right. So I have a exterior. Now, usually with your scene headings, it starts out with either interior, which means inside, or exterior, which means outside. All right, so either or is usually fine, depending on your story. All right, and then you have a dot right after that. You have a space in between your interior, exterior. You have a space between that and the location. Now, the location has to be a specific location. So it can't be anything like exterior chair day. Give us that specific location. Exterior home patio, home/patio for that shot. You know what I'm saying? So make it a very specific location. And then you have a space. And then you have a dash, and then you have a space, and then you have a time of day. So is it day or is it night? Usually that's the case when you're writing these. It's either day or night. Now, if it's a vampire piece, I always say this quick example, and you have to have done, then that's totally fine. But of course, now in the industry, day and night are pretty much standard. Okay, for all around the board. All right, so again, scene heading, we start out right after the scene heading, we want to start with a shot type. So for this instance, we're going to start with a wide because we're pretty much just showing the house. So wide shot, then we're going to say, what is the wide shot of? In this case, it's going to be the home. Okay. Beautiful. All right. And so in this case, we don't really have any action. Let me bring up our example again here and make sure we're in line, as you see. All right. That's pretty much what we're following. So we don't necessarily have a character in this, so we're just focused on the home. So in cases like this, where you focus on an item or object, usually you just give a brief description, unless someone is going to come in and do something within that scene. All right. So in this case, I said a truck is parked out a beautiful 2-story home. All right. So I'm just kind of giving you the description of the home. Okay. All right. And so next we'll go to the next shot. And so in this particular case, I'm actually going to have another scene heading because this is just kind of setting up the shot for me. So we're going to go inside the home and we're going to go to the office. Okay. And again, it's bold, so let's take that off. Automatically does that. So as you see, we have, in a sense, 2 locations here. But it's really basically saying the office is inside the home. All right. You can easily just take out home and just put office. Or if you like, hey, I want to make sure they know that this is inside the house. So that's why I have home there, dash office day. Okay. So that's pretty much how you would do that. Sometimes you will see continuous. That's another way of doing that, just basically saying this is a continuous shot. So sometimes you'll see that as well. All right, so it really just depends on you. I usually just say day, just to kind of make sure you're covered. All right, so interior, home, office, day. All right, so we're going to go to medium shot here. All right, and so yeah, so wide shot, that's pretty much the big shot. Okay, it shows everything. So in this case, we're showing the entire home in a wide shot. All right, so this is medium shot. So MS stands for medium shot. So medium shot, Ron is going to be our focus this time. And then we're going to say Ron sits at the desk. That's doing, I would say, recording. Talk about live. All right. Okay. And as you see, the grammar errors pop up, so you can always change those right away. All right. So Ron sits at the desk recording a tutorial video. All right. So you have the shot type, you have the subject. All right. This is our character in all caps, and then I'm telling what the character is doing. Okay. The description line of what the character is doing. All right, so that's pretty much what we have here. Okay. All right. So now let's say, hey, we're not going to a totally different scene. We're staying within that scene. So we'll just go to the next box, and then we can say another shot type, close up. All right. CU stands for close up. And we'll say this time it is the laptop or the computer. We'll just say computer just to cover, make sure. Computer. Okay. Ron types on the computer. All right. So our focus is going to be the computer. And then basically we're pretty much going to see Ron is typing on the computer. All right. So we'll just see whatever Ron is typing. We're going to see it on that computer screen. All right. And it's a close up. Okay. So that's a great way to do that. All right. Another shot type I want to tell you about would be long shot, and that's LS. All right. And just to kind of give you the quick rundown on the shot. So usually a wide shot, if you're looking at an actor or an object, usually you see the entire person in frame. So from the top of their head all the way down to below their feet area should be in frame, and they're pretty small sometimes in frame. So if it's a home, you'll see the entire house in frame. All right, the entire house from left to right, from top to bottom. Now, if it's a medium shot, usually medium shots can range from the waist area up to about that below chest area. So right below the chest and the waist, that's usually where the medium shots fall in line. Close-ups are usually from that mid-chest area up. So it can be anywhere from the mid-chest area up, okay, on an actor. All right. And if it's an item, of course, the item takes on majority of the frame. And if it's a character, the character takes up the majority of the frame. All right, so keep that in mind. Now, long shot, it pretty much goes down from the below the waist all the way down to probably about the knees or your ankle area, the ankles of the character. That's usually where the long shot falls in place. All right. So here we go. So we're going to continue. So long shot. Let's see what can I come up with for a long shot. Okay. So our focus is the window. Ron stands and looks out the window. Okay. All right. So that's a great way to do that. Okay. So this is pretty much what you'll be doing for all your shots. And of course, you'll be filling in each box, to tell your story. Okay. So you can usually, let's see, if I want to continue here. All right, let's say if I want to have another exterior shot, maybe show sun outside of the window. Okay. I'll give a little space here. All right. Okay. So pretty much that's how we pretty much will be doing this. Okay. So you may have just one scene heading, which is totally fine. But if you do want to play, go inside, outside, and have different locations, that's totally fine as well. As you see, that scene heading will just start before that shot type that you're going to do that with. All right. Definitely keep in mind it's only 1 minute. So you may want to just keep it to one location just to be safe. All right. So now we're going to jump over to the audio side. All right. Now, if we open our example here, as you see on my audio side, I only have dialogue. Okay. So dialogue is the key point for the dialogue. For the audio side, excuse me. You may include, like I said, music. You may include sound effects. It's really up to you. Make sure you take note of copyright laws when including music and sound effects. So make sure you're not using music that you don't have permission to use. It's very important to start practicing that now, because you're going to be working on projects in this program as well as outside projects, and then eventually going to be producing your own projects. So definitely keep that in mind when taking that journey. All right. So you may just decide, hey, I just want dialogue. I don't need any music. I don't need any sound effects, which is totally fine. All right. So with the dialogue, your character speaking has to be in all caps and underlined. All right, so the character speaking has to be in all caps, underlined. The dialogue has to be in complete sentences, and it falls in right underneath the character speaking. Okay. All right. Now, if we have sound effects or music, certain ways you have to put that in as well. So we'll show an example in case anyone wants to use music. All right, so usually with music, I usually just say music in all caps. All right, and then basically letting them know it's going to be music. And then usually once she have permission to use the music, you can italicize the name of the song. Okay, and make sure it's in caps. Let's see. Okay, so italicize the name of the song. And I'm having fun here, as you see. Yeah. All right, and usually I just say plays. So I write scripts is the name of the songs, italicized, and then by Run Done, and then it plays basically. All right, and usually with music, you'll put it the first time, and we assume it's going to be playing the entire time. Now, a question always come up too. What if you want to change the music in a different scene? All right, so all you have to do is just put the new track there. You don't have to say fade out. You don't have to. Some people do it, but you don't have to. You can just put the new track where you want to play it at. Okay, in the audio box. All right. So that's how you would do music. Usually it's the case. Naturally, it's not on the rubric. But this is just a great way to start practicing how to do music if you want to include audio on your script, music tracks. And just make sure you have permission. Okay. Another thing we can say, like what if we have some sound effects? So sound effects usually have to be in all caps. All right. So sometimes you may decide you want to do it straight out or spell it straight out. All right. So let's see. Okay. And usually with sound effects too, I'll just go ahead and italicize it just to let you know, hey, some sound effects there. All right. You can just put sound effects, abbreviate it there. It's totally fine. You can spell it out. Either way is fine. Usually I just say put it in all caps just to make sure we know, hey, this is a sound effect. This is a sound effect, okay? All right, and please take note too. I try to keep everything in complete sentences. That's just something that we practice in this program, especially with AV scripts. Try to keep everything in complete sentences, so just read straight forward. All right. Footsteps are heard approaching. Boom, complete sentence. All right. So the next thing we would cover again would be the dialogue. All right. Also notice in these boxes too. Let's say maybe you want the music to start playing right in that scene. It's not a bad idea to just line everything up. So once that scene starts, the music is here, and it kind of starts right in there. And then you can always line the sound effect up where you want it to be heard within that dialogue. Okay, so something else to keep in mind. All right, so you try to keep everything lined up where you want it to happen within your script and your story. All right, so the next thing would be our dialogue. Okay, so give a little space, try to make it even here. All right, so remember dialogue, the character speaking has to be in all caps, underlined. All right, and then you tell us what they're saying. Okay. All right, and as you see, it has everything underlined, so just take that off. You only need the character speaking to be the character speaking should only be underlined, and then in all caps. The dialogue is just straightforward. Okay, so what if you have also, maybe you have a scene where you have some voiceovers. Maybe you want some voiceovers. So same way, but you put the person in all caps, but voiceover you'll put in parentheses V dot O dot parentheses closed, and then you underline that. Okay, and you go underneath. We don't want to underline a dialogue. I'll put in playwriting, script writing. There you go. All right, so that's pretty much how you would do voiceover. So if your character, we don't see their mouth moving in that scene, but we hear them, that's usually called voiceover. So V dot O dot and then in parentheses. All right, so that's how you would do that. Okay. All right, so we'll just do a couple more here just to show you. Should be pretty straightforward now. Okay. Looks like it's about to rain. All right. So let's say our character, maybe they get a phone call. Okay. That could be something. All right. So to do that, you can say sound effect. Let me see. Okay. Okay, still complete sentence, and just italicize that. All right, then the next step would be, and if you take note, we don't have what Ron does over here, because we need to see what Ron does. And as a matter of fact, we'll bring this down, so maybe that happens after he takes a sip of his coffee. And over here, we may need to put that scene. So as you see, we had a different scene here, so we'll just delete that. Let's see. And we'll keep this scene inside the office now. And we can always say, oh, let's do this. Yeah, let me say so. Okay. All right, so that's what we pretty much, as you see, medium shot, cell phone is the focus. Ron picks up the phone. All right, use your cell phone. Be nice to see that in a close-up. Okay, and then maybe we can come out to the medium shot of Ron on the phone. Okay, so after that, then we will put what Ron would be saying. Okay, now what if we want to put like maybe we want to hear the person that Ron is talking to? So in that case, what we would do is first, we're still in that scene because our focus is on Ron. Okay. I'll just say cell phone, so it won't be any confusion there. Okay. All right. And then we have, so maybe the person that's speaking, now they will be in a voiceover because we don't see them. Okay. All right. Yeah. Oh. Okay. All right, so that's how you would do something like that. Okay. Now I did note that sound effects are usually in all caps. All right, and so let's make sure we do that because we didn't do that. So usually when you do sound effects in all caps, you're putting the actual sound has to be in all caps. So in this case, it's cell phone rings. So it'll let our team know, hey, we need a cell phone that rings, and that puts that in all caps. Okay, and our sound effect up here, footsteps. Okay, footsteps are heard approaching. Okay, so if it has to be in all caps, it'll just be the footsteps for this situation. All right, because that's what our focus is. That's the big sound, and they're heard approaching. Okay, all right. So something to also take note as well. Okay, sound effects should be in all caps, and again, it's usually what the sound is actually focused on. So in this case, it's footsteps. In this case, it's the cell phone. Okay, and what's the cell phone doing? It rings. So that's the sound. Okay, all right. So hopefully this was a great tutorial for you. Please feel free to reach out to me if you have questions or concerns. Pretty much a lot of stuff that we went over here today will be covered on the quiz. So make sure you understand this before you take the quiz, and I'll be here if you have questions or concerns. All right, looking forward to seeing these projects, and looking forward to you not only writing the script but also shooting this project. All right, so you will be shooting this project this month, so start thinking about how you want to do that. All right, great stuff. We will keep moving forward, and I look forward to seeing your work in week 2 for this assignment. All right, take care, everyone. I'll be here if you have questions or concerns.